everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me and Tiger. He had to come and join me today. This video is going to be a collaboration with Fuchsia Floyd. I'm going to link her video down below. If you don't know her and if you haven't seen her channel, she's a fairly new YouTuber, although she's been doing it for a while, and she has phenomenal taste in bags. She has an awesome collection. She always has some good information to share, and she's a lovely person. So go over to her channel, like her video, subscribe, and show her some love. Before I get into the video today, let me show you my bag of the day, because this is going to be a mostly chatty video. My bag of the day is my little Longchamp extra small, and I don't remember what this color is called. I want to say Cadet, but I'm not 1,000,000% sure. I hardly have anything in it because all I did today was run to the grocery store and that was it. So nothing special, just my wallet's in there and I think a receipt. So that takes care of that. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So I've had good experiences and bad experiences with the RealReal. Let me start off with the good, okay? I've had some very, very good purchases. I've purchased some jewelry. I'm going to put a link to all the videos that I've done on my RealReal purchases in the description box so that you could go back and look at those if you want to get a better idea of the kind of things that I've gotten and what I've said about particular items. But I bought a beautiful Chanel scarf. My very first purchase was a Tiffany Nature jewelry piece. It's a charm bracelet. It's a very, very rare and hard to find piece, and I got it on there for an excellent price, and I bought that before I started to do YouTube, so I don't have a specific video on that. But I had several Longchamp bags that I've gotten recently, and they were just awesome. I mean, they were in awesome shape. I got them for an amazing price, and I just couldn't be happier. As a seller, however, my experience was a little bit different because I really felt like I got the runaround. I felt like they just didn't want to bother, and I'll get into that story in a little bit. So let me talk about the good. Again, let's focus on the positive right now with the things that are good about the RealReal. They have lots of different categories of merchandise. So you could go on there, you could look for jewelry, bags, ready-to-wear, shoes, housewares, you name it, beauty, they have it all. And they even have books and collectibles, you know, a lot of really interesting things that if you wanted to get something really cool for your home, you could do it. They even have furniture. So the variety of items that are available in the whole luxury realm is just phenomenal. I mean, they're the place to go because Fashion File is basically bags and jewelry. They don't carry anything else but that, and SLGs. So, and of course the RealReal sells SLGs too, because I kind of categorize that in my mind under handbags. So that's one of the main things that I think they have in their favor. The second thing that I think is really a positive for them is they have this first look program where for $12 a month, which is what it costs now, you have first dibs on items that get listed before they go on sale to the general public. So if you wanted to get, say you're looking for a Louis Vuitton bag and you know, you're looking for like a Murakami Cherries print, for instance. I have that on my mind because I was talking about that today with Winnie. But if you have that on your mind, there might be one that goes up on the RealReal, and that's going to be something that more than likely doesn't last past a few hours. So yeah, you want to be able to add it to cart as soon as possible because it's something that you might not get again. And then also they have pieces that they list for ridiculous prices, ridiculously low prices, that is, because somebody dropped the ball, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. So you can find something that's just phenomenal that's listed well below what you'd expect to pay for it anywhere else. So right there, that's really a very good thing for a buyer. I mean, everybody's looking to get a bargain, right? The other thing is they have, in general, pretty good prices. they do run sales. They run sales pretty frequently where if you spend so much money, you'll get a certain amount back to spend at a later time. They offer bonuses if you're going to sell something to them, which again, with the selling, I'm going to get to that in a minute. You could go to the RealReal and shop in person at their New York location. I think that they have a location in LA, but regardless, if you're in the area, you could go in, you could shop their inventory and take a good look in person. Fashion File does have a showroom now in New York, and you can send things back through Neiman Marcus, but they don't have a specific showroom in as many locations. I'm pretty sure the RealReal beats them out when it comes to that. And I think that they have a Chicago location as well, the RealReal, because I've seen that on Caleb Snell's videos. So that's something else that's really in their favor, and they're constantly getting new merchandise. They will alert you if something goes on sale, so it pays to like something, follow it, and they'll let you know when the price is reduced. So let me talk about the cons, because there's some cons that people know about and that the RealReal is famous for, or infamous for, I should say, and that's for horrible, horrible pictures. They usually don't have pictures of the bag from every angle. They might have a handful of pictures. I've seen them have as little as 3 pictures for some items, and I really feel if you buy the item, you're taking a chance, because 3 pictures is never going to show all of the details on the item. I mean, I've sold things on eBay. I've had, or no, let me give you a better example. I had an item listed on Mercari. It was a Tory Burch Gemini pouch, one of the small pouches. And there's only so much that you can do with the little Gemini pouch because it's small. So I took pictures of every angle, the zipper pull, all the inside, and someone asked me, be honest, are there any defects? Well, with all those pictures, what kind of defect could there be that I'm hiding, right? But somebody's still going to ask you, you know, are there any defects? And if you're able to look at every corner of it, usually you can feel pretty confident, you know, that there's something, or that there's nothing actually that's amiss with the item, right? But anyway, with the RealReal, you're taking a chance a lot of times. They will list things in the description, but you don't know how accurate that description is, because they even call items by different names sometimes, or don't list the item by its actual name. For instance, the Longchamp Extra Small here, if you were to see one of these on the RealReal, they might call it a crossbody, they might call it a tote. You really never know what they're gonna call it. It's kind of like when my mom used to have her address book, and she would list, you know, like the neighbor under either neighbor, or she would list them under Mike's wife or something like that, like M under Mike's wife. I mean, you had no idea how she was going to categorize things. She just kind of did it all along her whim, and they do pretty much the same thing. So there's that with the pictures. They have a terrible return policy. They have a no return policy on handbags unless the item doesn't match the description. So the way usually people will get out of things if there's no return is to allege that there's a smell. Let's be honest. I do know of a couple of times where people have said that there's a smell because you can't prove it. So you could bring that up and you could say, well, it wasn't disclosed in the listing. And more than likely, they're going to take the item back. Now, of course, there are some things that you get that do smell of whatever, of cigarettes, of gum, of cat pee. Could be anything, really. Must, mold, whatever. And sometimes they don't list those things. Maybe sometimes you might be more sensitive to something than the person who's packing the item up. I mean, I know that there's sometimes they'll list a perfume smell. You know, people use skin creams and complain about the smell of the cream. And most of the skin creams that I use, I've never really had an issue with the way it smells. But some of that stuff is very, very personal. Let's just put it that way. What might be very strong to me, might not be strong to somebody else. So there's that. So that would be a way to get around it. But truly, if there's something that's in the listing that doesn't match, or something that you get that doesn't match the listing, you could bring that up and they can return it. And hopefully they'll honor it. And from what I understand, they usually do honor those things. Autumn has talked about this, and she's very, very familiar with the RealReal, and I think that she's had a couple of pieces that she did return because the item didn't match the description. So, but in general, if you buy something else, I think that they're a little bit better with it, but most of these companies and stores do try to deter you from making a return because it's expensive for them. If they're paying for the return, that money comes out of whatever their profits would be. And if everybody's just constantly returning things, it throws their numbers off. I'm not in any way trying to pick up for them, but I'm just trying to illustrate why. And if you've ever sold anything on your own, you know what a hassle it is when somebody wants to send something back and what you really need to go through in order to make that happen. You wind up losing more. So I understand why they have a strict return policy, but when there's a legitimate problem, those things really should be looked at and honored. So, but again, as far as I know, if there's an actual defect that you can prove, they will honor it. So let me get on to what my experience with the RealReal was, because I would never sell to them. Put it to you this way. So I had two bags that I was going to sell. I had an Epi Leather Petite Noe, and I had a Sommer 30. I also had a couple of other bags. I think they were Coach, and I had a Henry Bendel bag, a wallet on chain, that I also wanted to sell. And when I asked about these items, they said to me, well, we'll have to see them and we'll have to take a look and somebody will be in touch with you. And when they heard that I had other items, and I think that I was thinking about selling the Tory Burch pouch at that time too, but the person that I talked to said, oh no, we don't take those things. And I'm thinking to myself, really? You don't take those things? Well, I can look for Henry Bendel on your website and see 40, 50 listings. So where did that come from? The retail fairy? Sorry guys, my glasses are really like tilted today. I don't know why. Maybe because this is getting me a little bit annoyed. But anyway, yeah, like where did that come from? I've seen Coach bags there. I've known of people buying Coach bags there. So why would you tell me that you don't take those bags? Because obviously you're getting them somehow. Am I right? Okay, so somebody from the RealReal did contact me. It was a woman named Jenny, and she wanted to FaceTime. So I FaceTimed with her, and I showed her my two bags, and she said, She said, well, okay. She said, everything looks okay. I'm going to send you a label. So I said, fine. Week goes by, no label. 2 weeks go by, no label. I text her, no answer. I try to contact somebody at the RealReal, and they said to me, oh, well, if you were working with Jenny, then you need to discuss this with Jenny. So, well, I've tried to discuss this with Jenny, and Jenny's never answered me. So then she finally did answer me, and she said, oh, well, I'll resend the labels. I had asked her to send them through the mail because I didn't have access to a printer. Do you think I ever saw those labels? No. Never saw the labels, and I ended with her by sending her an email that said, apparently you don't want my items, you're not responding to me at all, so let's just consider this the end. And then the RealReal contacted me. They sent me an email, we still want your items. And of course it was one of those generic emails that you get if they know you've shown an interest. So I did call, I talked to whoever it was that was on the phone that day, and I explained the situation. I said that I had tried many times to contact Jenny. She never responded. I even emailed them all the correspondences because this Jenny was apparently some kind of a field coordinator. And what she had told me is that they would have people actually come to the house to pick up the items if I needed to, or if they had somebody in the area. But She didn't have anybody that was in my area, so I was fine. Go ahead and send that back, not a problem. I'll use the labels, but I didn't get them. So anyway, I told them what the situation was. They never offered me an apology. They never said, well, we'll take it from here, you know, we'll send out these labels. Nothing. And at that time, I had already sold both bags to Fashion File, so I really didn't care. But the situation left a really bad taste in my mouth, because as a seller, you would expect that somebody would be a little bit more accommodating, I guess, or respectful of you, who has the items that keeps their business going and wants to help you make more money, because that's kind of what it boils down to. But yeah, I really felt very disrespected, and I felt a little bit, I don't know, it just left me, they came across to me as very snobby, you know, when they said that they weren't going to take my Coach or my Bendel, which obviously they sell. And then when this woman just kept brushing me off, I was just pretty much done with it. So I would never sell anything to them again. I do think that you can make an appointment to show things to them and have them appraised in their showroom, but I don't live close enough to a RealReal to do that. I'm not close enough to New York where I would feel comfortable carrying a lot of things to go and to get appraised. The other thing is, which kind of piggybacks off that, speaking of, you know, when they take your items, it seems to me like most of what they take, they don't buy outright like Fashion File does, but rather they put it on consignment. And I know this because when I got all of these bags for a steal, one of the bags that I saw and made a community post about was the little boxy Petunia Longchamp, which a lot of people had wanted. I was lucky enough to get one on the RealReal for under $200, and when one popped back up for around the same price, I put a community post and said, hey, this bag is up on the RealReal, go grab it. Well, the owner of the bag responded to my post and said, that's my bag. Thank you so much for putting this information there, because she told them in absolute, no uncertain terms, not to sell the bag for that price. So I feel really guilty now that some of these bags that I bought, which I knew were worth a whole lot more, even used, because they were really very barely touched, and one is a model that's currently on sale now from Longchamp, my turtle dove bag that I showed the other day, the La Follone crossbody turtle dove. Maybe I showed it a week ago or so, but anyway, that bag is over $500 brand new, and they sold it to me for $160. So whoever gave them that bag got screwed. I mean, if you're going to take items from somebody for consignment, you should be very upfront about what you think the selling price is going to be and what the percentage is going to be to go back to the buyer. And I don't know that they do that, or if they discuss it with the buyer, it doesn't seem like they honor it. And I know that this woman contacted them and said, send the bag back, this pink Longchamp. And I really hope that the bag was returned and they didn't have any issues with it. But I think that that's just a terrible, terrible thing. I know that if I sent something that was in good condition, you know, if you send it to Fashion File, no, you're not going to get as much as if you sell it yourself. If they sell a pochette accessoire for $1,200 pre-loved, they're going to give you maybe $800 for that, which of course you're still going to make something if you bought it for $500, but you're not going to get what their price is. They're going to make the most money off of it, and you're going to get a percentage of that. And generally, I'm pretty okay with that if I want to get something out of my closet and if I think that I'm getting a fair price and I'm not getting screwed. But when you're only getting a fraction of what you paid, and you know, God only knows if they're selling something for $160, if they're giving half to the seller, if I got $80 for a $500+ bag, I mean, that's just horrible. It's sickening. So that practice I don't like at all. So, will I stop shopping at the RealReal? No. I like to look, I like to be really careful, and when I see something that looks a little bit too good to be true, I do get a little bit suspicious of it. And I'm not saying that this happens all the time, because you definitely can see some things that are mislabeled and mismarked, and it's in your favor, and, you know, I say go for it. You know, as the buyer, you're not responsible for what prices they put on the items, but it just makes me feel really bad inside for the people who are doing it. And when I bought those bags, I had no idea that they had these things on consignment. I figured that maybe they bought a lot, got it from somewhere, and this is what they were selling it for, and that's that. I didn't know that they had an active person who was waiting to get paid and who was going to be not making what they should make. So that's all I got to say on this subject, guys. So again, if you have any stories about the RealReal, I would love to hear them. And go over to Fuchsia Floyd and watch her video and see what she has to say. Sorry this was a little bit chatty. I promise to have a little bit more eye candy next time. But for now, thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video. And again, big reveals coming up. See you soon. Bye-bye.